So the Rams played their second preseason game, and that means it's time to give our takeaways on the game. Let's get into it. So here we are on the Rams Wire. If you guys don't know, this is one of my favorite websites, so I just want to shout them out real quick. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I do use them in pretty much all of my videos. So if you guys want to, you can go to this website and keep up on everything Rams. I try to cover a lot of their content, so you're going to see the most important stuff here on the channel, and also get my analysis on it. However, the Rams Wire is a super good website. Definitely recommend them. By the way, 6 takeaways from the Rams lost to the Raiders on Saturday night. So just briefly give my initial takeaways. I was actually in Vegas. So funny, we played the Las Vegas Raiders, but they actually went to the Rams, SoFi Stadium. So I wasn't able to watch. I would have definitely went to the game if I could have. But my brief takeaways from just watching the game back yesterday night and then also the highlights this morning is just Davis Allen is a goon. Hopefully he makes that the team, just because it seems like his catch radius is insane. He does have a lot to work on, and he was, later round pick. But he's definitely someone that I would be interested in the Rams keeping on the 53-man roster, even if that means we have to keep 4 tight ends. Him paired with Trey Tomlinson having another very nice pass deflection. I like to see that. Stetson Bennett did rush in for a touchdown, but he did have a pick 6 and a few very bad throws. So we just needed him to clean that up and then have a good game next week, and he'll lock up that number 2 spot for quarterback going into the season, just in case Matthew Stafford gets hurt or anything. But anyways, let's get into this article. So thankfully, the Los Angeles Rams preseason games don't count towards their record, because this summer they're 0-2 and being outscored by 68-34. Just want to mention this: the Rams play like the least amount of starters by anyone in the league. So just because they're losing by this much doesn't mean that this is how we're gonna look going into the season. Like, the Rams even decided not to start or play Puka Nacua or Byron Young. Those are 2 rookies that should probably be playing in the preseason, but they just know they're gonna play, so we're keeping them out. The Rams did fall to the Raiders 34-17 on Saturday night, their second straight loss by that score this preseason. For a young team, struggles in the preseason were to be expected, but it's hard to tell if they're where McVay expects them to be at this point in the offseason. Here's what we learned from the 17-point loss from SoFi Stadium, breaking down 6 takeaways from the game, including the update on Stetson Bennett and the quarterback situation. Stetson Bennett is either locked in at QB2 or falling behind Brett Rypien. Now, this is a very astute observation. Obviously, those are the 2 options here. Stetson Bennett is not going to be cut by any stretch. He could throw 3 picks next week and he won't be cut from the team. He could lose the second QB2 position, but he will not be cut after the Rams invested in him like this. But Bennett got in the start on this one and played the first 3 quarters of the game. But even when Rypien came in, he was mostly handing the ball off and only attempting 4 throws. The Rams are clearly trying to get a longer look at Bennett than they are Rypien, which could mean one of 2 things. Bennett is entrenched with Matthew Stafford's backup and is just getting as many reps as he can, or Rypien is ahead of him, so the Rams are simply trying to give Bennett some experience. Personally, I think Stetson Bennett is just the QB2, and they want to give him a lot of experience just in case Matthew Stafford does go down. But that's just my opinion. Like I said earlier, Davis Allen has some real potential at tight end. Allen made his preseason debut after just returning to practice this week, and he wasted no time getting going. He caught a game-high 8 catches for 53 yards, hauling in 8 of his targets and from Bennett and Rypien. They weren't all easy receptions either. His first was a 15-yarder, which he had to climb the ladder to catch in traffic on a high throw from Bennett. His catch radius gives him some serious potential at tight end behind Tyler Higbee and Bryson Hopkins. Possibly leapfrogging, long at the tight end position. Maybe we even only take 3 tight ends and Davis Allen, Bryson Hopkins, and Tyler Higbee get that nod. But we could also go with 4 tight ends with Long as well. The pass rush is invisible again. The Rams only landed 3 hits on the quarterback and finished with 1 sack as a team, which was more of a covered sack than a win by Keir Thomas on the edge. Still good for getting there, Keir. The pass rush wasn't impactful at all on defense, especially early in the game. This has been one of the Rams' biggest concern all offseason long, and it's hard to feel confident in their group. Yeah, Byron Young didn't play either. yeah, the Rams should feel a little bit bad about not getting a lot of pressure, but we'll see what happens when we get into the season and we have Aaron Donald in there, everyone focusing on him. It opens up the game for everyone else. I'm not too worried about it. It was a mixed bag from the Rams' young corners. Trey Tomlinson played well again, is looking to be one of their best players this preseason, but fellow rookie Tamarcus Davis was picked on often. We're not too worried about Tamarcus Davis, my bad. But we are happy about Trey Tomlinson, and he's definitely going to be getting a lot of play this season. I can already tell. He gave us up at least 80 yards in coverage, along with a touchdown and a pass interference penalty against him. That is Tamarcus. Jordan Jones gave up a touchdown in the fourth quarter, but Cameron McCutcheon made a couple of nice plays on the back end too. There was just a mixture of good and bad from the young defensive backs. I agree. Trey Tomlinson's who we have to be worried about, though, and he did great. Jake Hummel and Ronnie Rivers are making the team. There's little doubt that both of these players should make the 53-man roster, and it's hard to imagine that they won't come this September. Hummel was a stud all night, making 5 tackles and picking up a pass that he returned 21 yards for a touchdown. Jake Hummel was my breakout player of this week. He was easily the best player out of all of them. Rivers got the start at running back and had 42 yards on 9 carries, with his longest being an 8-yard scamper. He had a very, very tough run. Very good. He runs with good power, but also elusive in the hole, making him a good candidate to be the 3rd running back on the depth chart. So yeah, Rivers and Hummel definitely standout players, along with Trey Tomlinson and Davis Allen, obviously. Puka Nacua has done enough to earn veteran treatment. Nacua didn't play in this one like he did a week ago, a sign that the Rams don't want to risk him. It's rare for a 5th-round rookie to get veteran treatment, even on McVay's team, but it appears that Nacua has done enough to carve out a role on offense, so this could be really good. Could mean that he's starting. Super excited for him. Byron Young, like I said earlier, also sat this one out, but McVay said earlier it was that he was a little sore after getting a lot of good work during the week, so he could be in a similar position as Nacua. Don't want to risk injury, obviously, with these guys that are going to be getting play time, but if they can play, I'd love to see them play next week just to get tune-up and some more play before getting into their actual first NFL game. But yeah, those are pretty much going to be the takeaways from this preseason game. We are going to be moving on to the Broncos on, I believe, Saturday, so hopefully we can get a few more of these guys that are rookies into these games to give them a bit more experience. But either way, I'm very happy with some of the progression of players that are actually going to be getting playing time, like Trey Tomlinson, and Jake Hummel, as well as Davis Allen, carving out that role. People need to use this Broncos game as a way to carve out their role on this offense as either a backup or a real player. And the guys that I like are doing that, so I'm pretty happy with that. Hopefully Stetson Bennett can, catch up next week as well. But either way, leave a comment with your thoughts on the game below, and then leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.